Smaller firms will get a one-stop shop to help them navigate red tape across multiple agencies. The SME Pro-Enterprise Office will be launched in the first quarter of next year. Now, Enterprise Singapore says SMEs face issues, particularly when navigating new and emerging sectors. The office is meant to promote industry growth. Now, for instance, companies that want to install solar panels have to seek permission from multiple agencies, and that includes the Building and Construction Authority, National Environment Agency, and the Singapore Civil Defence Force. The office will point SMEs in the right direction and ensure the agencies help them as swiftly as possible. A Senior Minister of State for Trade and Industry, Ling, says the office will also gather feedback on regulations.
If it means that we receive substantial data point that tells us that there is a systemic regulatory issue, it will be escalated not just to the SME Pro-Enterprise Office management, but also potentially to the Interministerial Committee for the various ministries to resolve and align a policy decision.
And for more on what SMEs want from this new office, I'm now joined by Mr. Ang Yuit, President of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. Mr. Ang Yuit, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very happy to be here, Shahida.
We are happy to have you here as well. Now, as you recall, PM Wong said in his NDR speech, Singapore has done well in ensuring a business-friendly environment, but over time, the rules have grown and sometimes overgrown. What is it about the rules and regulations that have become daunting for our SMEs, and why?
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of just quickly step back and talk a bit about the SME landscape, right? Mm-hmm. And as SMEs, you know, one of the challenges that we face is that we are typically short on resources, and we have to really firefight, and we have to do with very little and try to achieve a lot. Mm-hmm. At the same time, SMEs are also the bedrock of our economy, and they actually help cushion a lot of the economic shocks, right? And this ground really needs to be watered. So this initiative, we think, is really a very timely one, because over the time, we are just concerned from our perspective that there has been more focus on the larger enterprise and less on the smaller ones. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities for SMEs to grow when given the right attention. And when it comes to the perspective around the rules and regulations, right? I think that overall, if you look at the economy, it's always in a constant state of optimization. And one of the things that we really want to look at is how can we help the SMEs from the perspective of, first is, I think, a lot of interministerial regulations that could be simplified. And as we go through the process, I think that can be cut down. And the other area that's interesting, right, is actually around the perspective of whether there is a risk-taking appetite to counter or to build together. And if the government can also inject a degree of risk-taking appetite, then that would also help a lot of the businesses, because sometimes it boils down to whether an agency is willing to step up and stand up for something that they can support.
So it's really about making the process easier and more convenient for the SMEs. But the new office will be up and running early next year. What will SMEs most want or expect from this office?
I think, you know, if we're talking about it, first, you want to make sure that the SMEs have a place to feedback. I think through our association, we can do that. And we also want to make sure that whatever we feedback, right, has a action and a process that's a bit clearer, and we are updated on what's happening. And I think if we can all understand where we are measuring the success of this office, you know, I think that would really allow us to understand and work together with this office.
Are there certain sectors, Mr. Ang Yuit, that, you know, perhaps find themselves more caught up in the red tape than others?
Yeah, as shared, right, by Min Lo, is that, you know, one of those are the newer sectors, like in the green economy. I think there are, if you look at the agencies, there are 5 agencies. In other areas where you have to apply for licenses, you may have to find yourself getting caught up with LTA, URA, SLA, right? Now, apart from that, the other perspective is also the agencies where, you know, sometimes around worker and businesses, because there are more and more increasingly regulations around how we should be dealing with workers and how we can support workers better. And that is also an overhead that we can do.
And which sectors would these be?
I think if you look at it, there are the new digital sectors, there's the sustainable sector, and then there's the old traditional sectors. And if you look broadly, each will have its own unique characteristics.
We were saying earlier, right, that Singapore is already one of the most business-friendly countries in the region, but the economic environment is constantly evolving. So how will supporting SMEs in this way help with the overall business environment?
Yeah, so I was sharing earlier, look at the SMEs like as a beach, right? We're all little bits of sand, but if you water that beach, you're going to end up with a lot of things that can come out of that. And new business opportunities and new businesses will grow from this space. And I think it really deserves the attention and need.
What are your hopes in terms of seeing greater responsiveness from the government when it comes to policy feedback?
I think what the SMEs always want is a response to actually an outcome. So not only is it about saying that we are on it, but really seeing the outcome and a short and a very quick response to a result that the SME is looking for.
Okay.
That will make a big difference.
And, in trying to keep the regulatory burden to a minimum, do you see this new office putting the wind beneath the sails of our SMEs to help them become more competitive and perhaps help them to grow regionally or even globally?
SMEs are currently, dealing with a lot of costs. We all know that, even as Singaporeans. So if you can reduce the regulatory burden, that will reduce the cost, and that leaves them that headroom to actually look at growing. And now growing international is something we are encouraging our members to do.
Mr. Ang Yuit, we appreciate you coming into the studio with us to talk to us about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Mr. Ang Yuit, President of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises.